I got a question for you guys. Do you think that Season of Discovery needs a dungeon finder type system similar to retail WoW? What's up, guys? My name is Day Reed, and today is a little bit different of a video than I normally do. I normally make simple guides for the channel, but today I want to do a bit more of a discussion. I don't want to call it a rant, but it might turn out that way. Um, but I want to make a two part video. I want this part to be me giving my opinions on things, and then I want to make another video after this, reading over some of the comments and discussing that with you guys on another video. But I'll ask the question again. Do you think that Season of Discovery needs a dungeon finder or group finder system similar to retail? Because I used to be on the fence, but I've been leaning more and more towards yes, just because of the state of the game right now. And I don't know if you noticed it. Maybe it's just me. I'm just somebody who's more of a casual, but I really do think it does. And I'll kind of give you some reasons as to why I think that's the case. I know people's first reaction is going to be to, say no, we don't want to do that, and then, dungeon finder and group finder, that LFG is what ruined the game, and when you started teleporting to dungeons, that's what ruined the game. I used to believe in that sentiment. I don't believe in that anymore. I started playing the game later in Wrath of Lich King. I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I've always, my entire time playing World of Warcraft, at least retail, it has always had Dungeon Finder. It's always had Group Finder in it. It's always had Group Finder, and it's always had Heirlooms in it. It's had both those things my entire time playing. I was like 13 or 14 years old when I started, and I've been playing for, half my life already. I'm 26 now, so I've been playing for over a decade easily. And I've always had it. I've always had Dungeon Finder, and that's all I've always had. That's all I know, right? That's all I've always had in the game. And I think we're going to see a repeating history with WoW, because when Wrath Classic came out, most people were saying, we want zero changes to the game. We don't want anything changed. We want everything to be original to Wrath, except for we don't want Heirlooms and LFG. We don't want that stuff. We want Wrath of the Lich King exactly how it was, except for LFG and Heirlooms, right? Most people were saying that. That was a very large, loud part of the community was saying that. And I think that, obviously now Classic Wrath has LFG, right? You can do, you can queue up for dungeons now. Obviously there's WoW tokens too, so there's also that, but there is that LFG system back in the game like it originally did. Now I don't know if that's because the players were demanding that, or if that's Blizzard reacting to to the players' behaviors and activities in the game, right? I think it's a bit of both, but I do think that there is some. I think there is some like noticing of behavior in the game as well, where players insist that they don't want it, and then they come to this realization that, oh wait, maybe I do need it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of active players. I think when you get less and less active players, I think you start seeing people want it in the game again, because it's hard to form groups, especially when you're just spamming in chat, right? And that's been my issue, right? And that's kind of why I have been leaning more and more for a group system or an LFG system. Now, I don't know if I want it to be a LFG system like what was released when Wrath first came out, right? I don't think I want the original iteration of it. I think I would like to see more of how retail does their pre-made group system, where you can, create a group, title it, put a description in. Well, first you gotta choose a category, right? If you want it for a questing group, you want to do a dungeon group, a raid group, whatever. um, and you can post that you want this thing, and people can sign up to your group, right? Because that would be much more. What's the right word I'm looking for? That'd be much better than spamming in chat, right? You get /4 spam, you know, healer looking for group, Scarlet Monastery graveyard, right? It's a much better system, and it could be a system where you have to go to a billboard, like a physical billboard or something like that. You know how like retail WoW, you have like those billboards where it kind of sends you off to do quests and stuff like that. Maybe you have to go to that and create a group or a listing for a group, and you have to go there to accept or approve players to the group or something like that. Because I'm telling you right now, I've seen a huge drop in players, and I don't play on a dead server by any means. I play on like my horde characters. I play on Crusader Strike, right? So I play on Crusader Strike and I play on Lava Lash. Those are the two servers that I play on, and they're not dead servers by any means. But even when I was playing my main character, I did do some questing, and those questing areas were not like full of people, right? And maybe it's because there's multiple leveling areas for variety of different level ranges. But there wasn't like a lot of players in some of these areas, right? In phase 1, if I went to an area, if I was going to Westfall or Red Ridge Mountain or any of these places, there was a lot of people there, and you would have to almost form a group because you were fighting over spawns or whatever it was. So there are a lot of times where, I'd be like in Red Ridge and you had to kill gnolls, and you saw somebody else there, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to fight for tags, so we're just gonna, I'm gonna invite you to my group, right? The overall behavior of players in phase 2 is not the same at all. I think most people just did Scarlet Monastery grinds to 40. If I'm being completely honest with you, right? If you're Horde, you go to Razorfen, and if you're Lions, you go to Stockade, at level 30 or whatever, and you just run 10 levels of Scarlet Monastery, right? Like, that's just the fastest way to do it. Now, I don't know if it's because people know about the double XP, and so they're like, I don't feel like, I'm not gonna level up another character right now because I'm just gonna wait for the double XP. I don't know what it is, but I have noticed a change in behavior, and I think that there needs to be some kind of looking for group system, because the spamming in the chat to get a group going is the biggest pain in the butt ever. And I have a add-on now. I had to get an add-on that basically, I think it's like it's some kind of like billboard or something. It's something where it divides up all the spamming in the chat, and it divides them into the different dungeons for you, so you can tell who's spamming for what. And for me, it's just a worst version of queuing for a dungeon. It's just the worst version of making dungeon groups, right? And even when it came to, especially in January, later in phase 1, getting a group going for BFD took forever. It took forever to do. I think a lot of it has to do because there's a lot of like, I don't know why, but there's like a lot of like hardcore, going for our parses people that are playing, and I don't know, it just makes it such a pain in the butt, right? Like, you feel like you're doing a job interview just to get into a Nomergon raid. Have you done 6 of 6 yet? Have you done this? Send me your logs, right? And I'll be honest with you, like again, I don't want to see like I don't know if I necessarily want to see a queue up for a dungeon, queue up for a raid. Like, I'm not saying I want like LFR or LFD, right? Where you just queue and do that. Again, I feel like I want to do more of a system where you create a group, post it, people sign up to it, whatever. I think we get rid of a lot of the spamming in the chat, because right now you look in your chat and it's people are spamming for dungeons or raids, or they're like selling summons, or they're selling gold, or whatever it is. They're doing something, right? It's like it is. You don't even want to look at it, right? It's just people spamming all types of nonsense and it's super annoying, and you just don't want to look at it, you know. I guess my overall take is this: I would like to see a, you know, being able to create and post groups and have like these sign up things. But I also, at this point, I don't really care if they put in a queuing system. I think the overall behavior of players is way different between phase 1 and phase 2. I think everyone has basically agreed that we're going to dungeon spam to level 40, and then we're going to quest after that, because then we get the most amount of gold and it's easier to get our mounts then. That's just what I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really know, but that's my overall take. Kind of like an off the off the top of my head type of conversation. I don't have it like written down or scripted. I'm kind of just rattling off ideas here and just things that I've noticed. But yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think, what you guys have noticed in the game. I guess I have 2 questions to end this video with, which is, what is your overall experience between phase 1 and phase 2, right? What have you noticed between phase 1 and phase 2? What is your current experience like in Season of Discovery right now? Pros and cons. And also, how do you feel about a looking for group system? Do you think they should implement it? Yes or no? Give your reasons why. I'm very curious. But I'll leave it there. Again, I want to make a second video kind of going over some of you guys' comments. But it's something I've noticed, and I'm really curious if there's a way to fix it, because, again, I feel like there's just... Classic WoW is a very like casual, friendly game that feels like a lot of the players... there's a lot of these like hardcore players that kind of went in and ruined it to me. I don't know. That's just me. But I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, if you like videos like this, let me know. I'm curious if maybe you want to see more like this, or maybe you want me to stick to the guides. Whatever. It's kind of a bit of an experiment, but I am curious overall as to what you guys think. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you subscribe, hope you like, hope you comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.